When you hear the words Ouija board, most people immediately think of something evil. Honestly, so do I. But this investigation forced me to question something I never expected. Could a spirit connected to a Ouija board actually be protecting someone? Or was something much darker hiding behind decades of trust? Let's take a look at one of the most puzzling investigations we have ever encountered. Welcome back, everyone. One of the most unusual cases we've ever investigated involved a client who believed she had been accompanied by the same spirit for most of her life. She even gave him a name, Brendan. According to her, Brendan had never threatened or frightened her. In fact, she believed he had protected her for decades. But was he really a protective spirit or something else entirely? That was the mystery we were about to walk into. The client told us that, as a child, she grew up in a abusive home. Her parents and grandparents were deeply involved in the occult and regularly attempted to communicate with spirits, primarily through Ouija boards. She believed Brendan first appeared during that period of her life. Because she was so young and living in such a traumatic environment, she became convinced that Brendan had remained with her, not to harm her, but to protect her. That immediately challenged everything I believed. From my own experiences, investigating cases involving Ouija boards, I have found that the entities people contact are often deceptive, and I've always approached those situations with extreme caution. So, the idea of a genuinely protective spirit didn't fit with my understanding. Was Brendan actually the spirit of a deceased person who never crossed over? Was he something else entirely? I honestly didn't know. Okay, fast forward many years. The client began experiencing activity that she no longer believed was Brendan. Most of it centered around her son's bedroom. Her husband rarely experienced anything himself, but he did hear someone call his name on more than one occasion. The question was, who was calling him? Brendan or something else? Both the client and her son heard unexplained noises throughout the house. Her son suffered frequent nightmares and would wake up terrified. They occasionally saw the figure of a man moving through the home, and her son's room would become unusually cold. There was another part of the story that left me with even more questions. Years earlier, the client's ex-husband had been extremely abusive toward her. She believed Brendan had eventually taken revenge. 12 years after their divorce, her ex-husband died in a motorcycle accident on the West Coast. She even showed me the newspaper article. According to the report, the investigators were unable to determine what caused the crash. There was no evidence that another vehicle had been involved or that anyone else had been present. And for privacy reasons, I can't share the article because it contains identifying information. Was it simply a tragic coincidence, or was Brendan somehow involved? I honestly don't know. So we headed to the investigation with a very cautious approach. If Brendan truly was protecting this lady, and we immediately attempted to remove him like we would any other entity, we risk creating a situation that may take a turn for the worse. After all, according to the client, Brendan had been with her for decades. Her request to us was very specific. She did not want Brendan removed. She only wanted us to address anything else that might be present. Here are some of the clips we captured during that investigation. And as always, videos have been blurred to protect the privacy of the client.
How did you meet
fur. Did you just say Ouija board? Please, can you tell me, did you just say Ouija board? I asked this in the other room and it was a little unclear, so I'm just going to ask it again in here. Brendan, how did you meet Carrie? How many spirits in here came through on a Ouija board?
Sure.
Who is it that gets in bed with Carrie and plays with her hair? Who does Carrie feel get in bed between her and her husband? But in the meantime, I just have a few more questions I want to ask, if that's okay.
Go on.
Did you come through and meet her through a Ouija board session?
Who is it?
What is your name so I know who I'm talking to?
Yes.
I'm back.
This case has never changed my opinion about the dangers of Ouija boards. After all, it turns out Brendan wasn't the only one that came through on a Ouija board. When did the others come through? Same time as Brendan? A different time with a different Ouija board session not associated with his client? Also, different voices when asked about how they met the client. Regarding the motorcycle accident many years ago, we could not get any valid answer one way or the other regarding whether Brendan was involved. So, if anything, it reinforced how unpredictable these situations can be. But this particular investigation left me with far more questions than answers. We honored the client's wishes. After the investigation, the activity throughout the home stopped. Brendan remained. To this day, I still don't know exactly who or what Brendan was. If he wasn't responsible for the disturbing activity and wasn't causing harm, there was no reason for us to force the issue. If that ever changed, we were prepared to go back. Even now, years later, this case still challenges me. If we try to force every case into simple categories, then Brendan would have had been either the spirit of someone who never crossed over or a deceptive entity pretending to be something else. Yet, throughout the entire investigation, not once did we feel threatened. We never felt the heaviness or oppression that often accompanies darker cases. I wish I had a definitive answer, but sometimes the spirit world reminds us that we don't have all the answers. Not every mystery is solved. Sometimes all you can do is document the evidence, remain cautious, help the client, and then move on to the next case. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please consider liking, subscribing, and sharing it with someone who might enjoy these investigations as well. If you'd like to watch another case, I highly recommend Jesus Marked This House. While many paranormal stories focus on darkness, that investigation beautifully demonstrated the peace, hope, and protection that Jesus brought to one family by visually leaving a cross on the door the entity was using to enter. And yes, there is a picture of it. Until next time, stay safe, stay grounded, and remember, seek the truth, not the fear.